Okay, so he's dried now and not looking too bad at all. That washer seems to have done quite a good job of him. So let us re-emphasise some of the colours that we did for the base colours, starting off with the flesh. Now I've put the wash on, so the last thing we want to do is go over everywhere. We want to pick out only certain areas, and those areas are the areas that are going to be hit by light. We don't want to be going over too much of what should be, what's the word I'm looking for? Hit by, well, not hit by light, shadow, recessed areas. But at the moment, we are spending some time just what's the word I'm looking for? Just putting back the colour that we used that has been darkened by the wash. So, and she's not a highlight. If you remember from previous videos, we do this to, as I say, re-emphasise colour. So we are basically doing this to make sure that this is the mid-tone of the Mini. And remember sometimes as well, when you're painting, the main part of the colour is the bit just where you take off the brush. So always try to push the colour where you want it. So if you're like pulling that way, the most paint will be where you take the brush off the Mini. So just bear that in mind when we are painting. Okay, next we have the trouser colour, this lovely lilac-y bluey grey, and we just want to add a little bit of that there. There. And there. We don't need to go overboard with this. He's wearing a belt as well, so I think what I might do is add that belt later on. And we also want to emphasise or reapply that colour here as well. I'm not going to go over the raised areas on the shoulder pads. I'll do them with a different colour in a bit. It's just that all we needed to. Okay, what's next? Let's do the shirt, which is the lilac-y colour. What colour is it? Lilac-y pink colour, what is it? Mutant Hue. Okay, so we can touch the collar, that area, a little bit there, a little bit there, but mainly down here is where we want it. There we are. That will do. There's not much of it to use. Next, let's do the gloves. No, yeah, gloves. Which is like a dark purpley colour. And try and just spot it on where there's raised areas, because we're not going to be doing much in the line of highlighting for this. That'll do. Next, let's do the spats, and I have looked, and yes, they are called spats. They're used to protect the top of the shoe and the bottom of the trousers from getting splattered by mud. And we'll just add a little bit here and there, obviously making sure that the areas of shadow will not be covered and the raised areas won't be covered. Oh, sorry, the recesses won't be covered either. I think I might make that metal. Because it doesn't look as though it's made out of the same material. There we are. And that's all it is really. Okay, next, the boots. And that was basically the Doomball brown, wasn't it? So we'll just put that colour over the top of the boots and we'll run it round the bottom edge. Bear in mind we're not worried about the base of these because this base is getting cut off. Okay, next, going into the blue, we will re-emphasise these raised areas. Yep. That will do. And next is the jacket. Again, just bear in mind this is not a highlight. The highlight is something still to come, where we add a lighter shade in to make certain points of the coat and certain points of the mini paler. And again, I'm using little lines to make this look as though there's a little bit of material texture with it. And we'll just go at it with these lines, leaving some of the recesses clear. And by clear, I quite literally mean that we don't actually paint over any of them. And we just do little lines there. There we are. And we'll keep going until we've done everywhere on the coat. And again, we're just making sure that the jacket has the bright points emphasised too, which will in turn emphasise the recesses. Just like so. And what we don't want to do is what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want to put these areas in the wrong place. This bit we're doing now needs to be on areas that are not recessed. But these aren't highlights, so we're doing underneath the mini as well, where light won't reach, but it will count as being the actual colour of the thing we're doing. So in this case, this green, by doing it this way, we are making sure that this coat is this colour, and the darker bits in the recesses are shadows, and the lighter bits on the raised areas are highlights. And that's what we need. We need this middle section. But one thing I'm not doing is this ribbed area. We're not doing it too much anyway. I'm going to leave it at that. Now I think that is everywhere highlight, having the mid-tone done, so it's now time to highlight. But it's also time to add colours that we haven't used before. So let's look at her first of all. On previous her we've done has been near enough the same: green, red, yellow, and then here we have black and a pinky colour for this chapper here. One thing we haven't really done is blonde. So what we'll do for blonde, we'll take some Ushabti. There we are. I've got a damp brush. I'm just going to go straight into this, scrape it off there, and oops, we'll just run this colour over the hair. In fact, beggar it, let's get some on here. I'm not going to be using this for highlighting this time. I'm finding it too dark to highlight. I really could do with some Screaming Skull, but I don't have any, or equivalent to Screaming Skull anyway. But as I say, without having some, I can't use it, so I'm going to use something different. There we are. I'm going to try a colour out for highlighting, see if it works. If it works, brilliant. I have this saying that I quite often use when I'm saying how I decide on things. Give it a try. If it works, it was worth it. If it doesn't work, it was worth a try. Okay, so that's the hair. Now, the gun and the glasses with the Vallejo model metallic black. I'm going to bring CD palette out. I'll just pop a little bit on. Don't think we need all that much. And I'm just going to go all around the back of his head with this. Do. And that goes there. Just make sure you get all of it and not leave any. And that's that. So we get in there with this fella. And pop that over there for a moment. Now it's time for highlight. And this time for highlighting, we're going to use Spaceship Exterior. See if this beggar works. It may do, then again, it may not. Who knows? But we'll give it a good shake and we'll pop it on our palette. And I'm going for skin. Oops. Let's get some of this on here, and then we'll add a little bit of this colour. Now, with it being an off-white, I don't think it's going to have as drastic effect on the main colour as using a pure white would. And it doesn't look as though it is doing it. It does look as though it is actually just making this colour paler rather than altering any of altering any of the base, altering any of the tone of the colour. Oh yeah. And just a little bit up there as well. That will do. Next, the trousers. Add a little bit in to the trouser colour. There's not a great deal that we need to add here. Oh yeah. That'll do. Yeah, it's very subtle. You can hardly see it when you apply it, but when it's what do you call it? When it has been applied, and when everything else around it's been applied, you'll see it subtly, but it will make a difference. We've gone into the blue, the McCrag blue, and this as well. And we just touch here and there a little of this colour, just to make it stand out just a little bit. That's nice. Don't need a great deal. There we are. I forgot to do the shoulders when I did the jeans, so let's go back to this. I'll do this shoulder pad here. And as you can see, I'm just doing little dots. I'm not actually doing strokes. Just doing it this way, it makes it look as though it's slightly hard. Shall we say it's a hard substance that has been knocked and bashed and dented. Oops.